Welcome to the Burisch Archive Podcasts, a series of focused discussion around the controversial claims of Dr. Dan Burisch. Today's subject: connecting the anecdotal claims from today's leakers and whistleblowers. So, we are taking a deep breath today and diving back into a set of claims that, well, when they first came out in the early 2000s, they just sounded like pure science fiction.
Right.
We're talking about Dan Burisch. His alleged work at the S4 facility, Project Aquarius, and his direct extended contact with a non-human entity they call J-Rod.
And our mission for this deep dive is, pretty straightforward. We have these contemporary accounts now. We have high-level insiders, recent whistleblowers, people like David Grusch, Dan Sherman, Harald Malmgren, even Jake Barber.
A whole new cast of characters.
A whole new cast. And we're going to see how what they're saying decades later actually corroborates the foundational pieces of Burisch's original story.
It's not just about one event, is it?
Yeah.
It's about seeing if we can map out a consistent, long-running clandestine infrastructure.
Exactly. And the themes we're really digging into are, one, the physical reality of these non-human entities and their tech being hidden by the government.
And second, this idea of a systematic, targeted recruitment of uniquely capable people for these black ops programs. Okay, so let's start with the big one. Let's talk about crash retrievals. I mean, this has moved from forum speculation to official sworn testimony.
It really has, and that immediately brings David Grusch to the forefront. His core allegation is that the U.S. government is actively hiding these crash retrieval programs.
And not just the craft, but the study of what he calls biologics.
Yes, biologics, or non-human intelligence, NHI. And that doesn't just support Burisch's story, it validates the entire context he was operating in.
The very air he breathed, as you said.
Right. His entire story is his time at S4, examining slides, working hands-on with the J-Rod, which was classified as an extraterrestrial biological entity, an EDE.
Under Project Aquarius?
Under Project Aquarius, it's a direct one-to-one parallel.
And Grusch even gets into the operational side of it. He mentions private aerospace companies storing this stuff.
Which is another powerful echo. Burisch talked about this, Bob Lazar talked about it. The use of civilian contractors is key.
Why is that?
Maximum compartmentalization. You get massive funding with minimal public oversight. It's the perfect way to hide something in plain sight.
Okay, but let's talk about the nature of these NHI. Grusch uses this very specific phrase, that they might be from a different physical dimension.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because it moves us beyond the simple, aliens from another star system narrative.
It sounds a lot more complex.
It connects directly to the biggest, most difficult idea Burisch was trying to explain, the divergent-convergent timeline paradox, the DCTP.
The time travel aspect.
The time travel aspect. His work on Project Lotus was all about trying to create micro wormholes, basically portals, using quartz crystals.
Why? What was the point?
Because the J-Rods weren't just aliens, they were described as future humans.
From our future.
Yes, who traveled back in time to fix a catastrophe that, for them, had already happened.
So how does the dimensional language from Grusch fit into that?
Well, think about it. If they are humans from our future, their very presence in our time creates a paradox, a split in the timeline, a dimensional split.
So they're not traveling light years.
They're bridging different eras or different potential realities, which is exactly what that nonlinear dimensional origin Grusch is hinting at, sounds like.
So they could be biologically human, but non-human of our time.
Precisely. And remember, Burisch wasn't just working with the biologics. He claimed he saw the hardware, too. Multiple craft at S4.
Including that triangular-shaped one, right? The ARV.
The Alien Reproduction Vehicle, yes.
Oh.
And crucially, he described how it operated.
No joysticks.
No joysticks, no gauges. It was all biofeedback. The pilot's consciousness was integrated directly with the machine. You thought it, and it did it.
That concept, it feels foundational. It
Yeah.
explains why they'd need such specific kinds of people, which I know we'll get to. So, this kind of complex, non-linear tech, it would require a really complex, really long-running, and fiercely guarded infrastructure to keep it all secret.
It would have to. Which brings us from the hardware to the hierarchy, the management structure.
We need to trace the lineage of that secrecy, right?
Yeah.
From the famous Majestic 12.
All the way to whatever entities are managing it now. The fact that these structures persist is maybe the strongest evidence that this story never ended in the 1950s.
And we actually have historical figures confirming these secret layers, don't we? Like Harald Malmgren.
Malmgren is fascinating. He was a high-level advisor to multiple presidents, and he doesn't just confirm Majestic 12.
Frames it as a given, right? An institutional reality.
An institutional reality that oversaw tech retrieval, linked to things like the Marshall Plan after World War II. But what really stands out is his language.
What do you mean?
He casually used the term Tagalongs.
Wait, Tagalongs? For what?
For the unidentified objects that were seen tracking U.S. missiles during the Cuban Missile Crisis era.
You told them Tagalongs.
Like it was normal. That level of casual talk means that at the very top, back in the 60s, this wasn't some huge mystery. It was an accepted operational reality they had to manage.
Wow. And Burisch's perspective on the hierarchy, it mirrors that just decades later. He said Majestic 12 worked for a committee of the majority.
Right, they were the scientific advisors. But he said Majestic eventually frayed and was replaced by a more powerful operational group called Scion.
SCIO, what does that mean?
A scion is a biological term. It's a transplant, a descendant. And that shift is so important.
From scientific advisors to
an operational body. To the consistory. It means the projects evolve from just analysis to deep political and global management.
And we see that gatekeeping function today. The Reddit leaker source, for instance, names John Mike McConnell as a key gatekeeper.
And that points right back to these powerful individuals who maintain control. What Burisch said about his own later role as chief of operations, it shows the incredible scope of this power.
He wasn't just dealing with ETs anymore.
Not at all. His job involved managing major global crises, banking stability, China investments, averting war, all under the same umbrella that oversaw Project Aquarius.
It's a single apparatus.
A single continuous apparatus managing global finance and interspecies diplomacy. The implication is staggering. They aren't just protecting a secret, they're running things from the shadows.
Okay, let's shift gears to the most human part of this, and maybe the most compelling. This idea that specific individuals are identified, tracked, and shepherded into these programs from a young age.
We see this starting remarkably early. Look at Harald Malmgren again. At age 14 in 1950, he's displaying knowledge of quantum physics, specifically entangled photons.
Concepts that weren't even publicly known or confirmed yet.
Not at all. That's chilling. It means his precociousness, his innate capacity, was spotted, it was recorded, and it was groomed for his future high-level role.
Now, compare that to Dan Sherman.
A perfect comparison. Sherman was a former Air Force intuitive communicator. He says his cross-training into electronic intelligence was explicitly, quote, part of their master plan for me.
So, not random at all. He was targeted for his intuitive ability.
Targeted for a program called Project Preserve Destiny, PPD. His job was to monitor human abduction data.
And communicate with a specific gray entity, right? The one called Bones.
That's right. His role just highlights that they need specialized human consciousness as a kind of technological input. The programs are built around finding these people.
And Burisch's recruitment in '86, it was just as sudden. He's an undergrad in a lab, and 2 Navy uniforms and a man in a suit just show up.
And he's eventually made working group leader for Project Aquarius, chosen over much more senior scientists for reasons he didn't get at the time.
And just like Sherman, it wasn't voluntary.
Not in the slightest. When Sherman tried to leave the military, they told him it would be impossible because he'd been indoctrinated into PPD.
They'd invested too much in him.
Too much to just let him walk away.
So what were these abilities that made them so valuable? Jake Barber talks about this. He confirms that certain individuals have psionic abilities that are crucial.
Crucial for connecting to and even operating the craft. Barber's experience suggests that a psionics team was involved in literally inviting an object to land.
Inviting it.
Yes, implying that consciousness, a specific field generated by these minds, is a necessary component for communication or operation of this non-human tech.
And that brings us full circle, right back to Burisch and J-Rod. It explains everything.
It explains why he was chosen and why all the official security protocols at S4 were basically obsolete.
A joke. I think he called them a joke.
He did, because the communication with J-Rod was telepathic. He had to fake following the written rules for the observers.
The real connection was mind to mind.
The instantaneous, unfiltered transfer of data and emotion, it superseded every security measure they had. Their consciousness was the tool, the weakness, and the key to the whole operation.
So what we've really laid out here is a chain of claims spanning 2 decades. But they all confirm this remarkably consistent picture of a secret government structure.
a structure that, one, possesses and studies NHI and biologics, often defined by this dimensional or temporal displacement.
2, operates these programs behind layers of secrecy run by powerful committees, Majestic, Scion, that also oversee global finance and war.
And third, it actively recruits people with these specific, non-conventional psionic abilities, sometimes from childhood.
The consistency across all these sources,
Mm.
Sherman, the military intuitive, Malmgren, the government prodigy, Grusch, the modern whistleblower, Barber, the psionic operative.
It all provides this incredibly powerful context for Burisch's early claims, working with a future human EBE underground to solve a catastrophe tied to time travel. The deep state infrastructure he described appears to be a single, continuous, highly sophisticated system.
And the central theme is, it's the clandestine nature of this relationship with the extraordinary, and how certain people are chosen to be a part of it, often without any real control over their own lives. Their minds are the keys to the future. Or maybe the past.
It makes you wonder, if we take these sources at their word, they suggest the greatest constraint on our interaction with these others, whether they're interdimensional, alien, or us from the future. It might not be technology or distance.
What is it then?
It might be the level of global unity and consciousness we can collectively achieve. Something Burisch was always urging people to pray and meditate on as a solution to the whole paradox.
Thank you for listening to the Burisch Archive Podcasts. Check back for further detailed analysis on other aspects of Dan's claims and their extraordinary connection to our current understanding of our relationship to the extraordinary.